What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Unconventional Christian Podcast show. I am your host, Ladun Thompson, and we are here with the amazing Wayno.
What's up?
And before we kick off the episode, I'd definitely like to start this with a prayer. So if you bow your heads, whatever. Father God, thank you for bringing us here. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for your love. Thank you for allowing us to be able to come together to have this conversation. We ask that you sit us down and you stand up and you lead us into this conversation. Let it be effective. Let it be communal. Keep us together in this journey and let it be amazing. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amen and I mean. I've always said that, man. What's up, bro?
What's going on?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Just
doing,
happy to have you on the show.
I'm happy to be here.
Yo, I'm gonna keep it 100 with the show. Like, even having you on here today, I just want to really express gratitude because I believe gratitude is one of the most important things in our journey. And I just want to say, for me, reaching out to you, and a lot of people I reach out to give me the runaround when it comes to coming in and locking in for a show. And today I hit you up. You just said, yeah, 7:30. I'm locked in. Yeah. Let's go. Let's do it. So that's the first thing I do want to.
Oh, man, it's not a problem, man. We've known each other for a minute now. Like, I ain't gonna front. We known each other for a long time, bro.
A minute, but you know, it's so crazy industry wise. Like, me and originally, I would always cross paths just on the back end of industry things.
Right.
And it just was a time seeing you and seeing like the grind from just being the young person running around with the rock to now, like, you know, what's so crazy. And you know, it's taken me a long time to admit this, but officially being in the space where we are officially in OG status. We're pushing. We're at that point in time in our lives where we are the old heads.
Yeah, somebody call me Unc. They call me OG.
Big bro.
Big bro. Nah, the big bro is
Big bro is pretty common,
but it's very tricky too. Like,
yeah,
people call you big bro because they think that you're more successful than them. Or if they are, some people call you that as like paying homage to you, but then other people look at like big bro is a very tricky word. I ain't gonna front.
Big bro is super tricky.
It's super tricky, but nah, I get all of that. I get Unc. Like, Unc, when people start calling me Unc, I was like, come on, dog. Like, I could beat you in a race. Like, don't call me Unc. Like, you know what I mean? Hey, I could jump higher than you. Don't call me Unc.
Nah, definitely.
Nah, like, but I appreciate it, man.
Especially being in Jersey. Like, Jersey, New York, somebody's gonna say big bro. They gonna say OG is
big homie.
Big homie.
Yeah.
Big homie make you feel old though.
Big homie does make you feel old, but I mean, big homie that's another tricky word too, because that's a gang terminology. Like, you know what I mean? For real, like, I don't want to be nobody big homie. But.
Exactly. And it's so funny. Before we even go on anything, I just remember I was listening to the Jumper episode.
No
Jumper episode, and there was a conversation, and it reminded me of something that I hid for so long from myself, which was when I was younger, growing up in Newark. Let me just say, but you said at that moment, you said that you joined a gang at that time, and you felt like joining a gang that you were for doing that at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I remembered, it made me remember a time, especially just being from Newark. They have, I was from a Spanish part of Newark. So, you know, you had the Latin Kings and then you had the Nietas.
Oh, those two, they don't play.
They don't play.
At all, bro.
So coming from that hood, I came from a 2-family home, but we lived dead in the middle of the hood. So coming from school every day with a couple Spanish kids that I was cool with, and they was like, yo, you want to be a Nieta? And I was like, sure, why not? It was like, yeah, man, you gotta get 31. I said, 31? What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Yo, so I went, got 31. 31, you getting your ass whooped.
Yeah, you gotta fight for 31 seconds.
31 seconds.
Yeah.
They kicked my ass for 31 seconds. So now, the next morning, I wake up, got a bruise on my face. My father like, yo, what were you doing that they were fighting you with your friends? I'm like, yo, I was like, I just got into a fight, this and that. But I went to school. It was like a Spike Lee moment. I'm driving, I'm on a bus, and I'm thinking to myself, yo, I'm really a gang member. So I went to school, and I really joined for no reason, but
Right.
I felt like my conscience started messing with me.
Right.
I got to school. It was this kid named Jonathan. I went to him and I said, "Yo, Jonathan, I don't want to be a gang member no more, yo."
Yeah.
He was like, "Nah, bro, you already in."
Yeah.
I was like, "But nah, for real, like, I just don't want to be a gang member no more."
Right.
So from then on, me and him was always cool, but I just like strayed away from him, like
Okay.
permanently. But like I never was ever involved in anything else. They were like kids. It was like kids.
Yeah.
In fact, they were probably kids whose brothers were near us, but they just claimed
Oh yeah,
it.
they was like that type of time. Yeah.
So it was never a requirement for me. But it's so funny when I heard you say that, I was like, yo, you know what?
You know what it is too? I mean, like for myself, it wasn't just that. Like I once I became a man, I felt like I was supposed to be doing it. I didn't feel like that at the time. When I was a kid, I felt a sense of belong. Like I wanted to belong to something, to someone. Like I grew up. I didn't have like when I was a kid in the Bronx, I was like the only kid on the block that didn't have an older brother, like a biological older brother. You know what I mean? Like I grew up. One of my god brothers, he lived across the street. It's 5 of them,
Right.
and I was like the second to the youngest. You know what I mean? But I was like their little brother, but I wasn't their biological brother, so I felt the sense of like not having that. Then my friend downstairs, it was 5 of them. He had two older sisters, then him, then a younger sister, then a younger brother. You know what I mean? So I like everybody in my hood, like that I grew up in, like everybody had siblings. I was the only person that didn't have a sibling until like I was 10. Well, I had siblings, but I didn't know them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like when I was younger, I just think that like when I did join into like a gang and be in the gang activity is because I was lost. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the most thing about it is like, you know, I was really lost and trying to find myself, and like that was one of the things that helped me find myself, because like there's really not nothing good about being in gangs at all. But like one thing that I did learn from being in the gang was being organized.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's crazy how like being a teenager, you taking orders from another teenager, but like we had a structure.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have a structure, we have like protocol, we had like rules and all types of shit, and I learned a lot. Like the eye-opening thing for me was like me being around all of these guys and inside feeling like I'm smarter than them, but I'm not the leader.
Right.
So I'm just like when we're doing certain things, I'm just like, when we're doing stuff, I'm just like, I wouldn't make that decision.
Right.
But I can't say that.
Right.
Because I'm not the one leading us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like on some shit like, you know, the thing about that is like I never got out of it either. It's just like you learn how to navigate when people realize that you're on a different path, then they just like, yo, he on that path, we on this path.
Right.
And now like the position I'm in, I'm not no gang leader, I'm not no gang enforcer, none of that shit. I'm just in a position where a lot of the brothers and sisters I grew up with that we was on that time, the path I'm on now, I could show them different things.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that that's the biggest thing, because I always said that, like, the Bloods and the Crips is, like, the greatest idea poorly executed. Hey, bro, it's the greatest idea, bro, because, like, I know more Bloods and Crips than I do, like, fraternity brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, more people than join the Black Panther, because, like, there's the Black Panther Party, because they try to do it numerous times, but I think that there's an allure to that type of life. You know, it's the colors, it's the lifestyle and all of that. But I feel like the message gets ruined because, you know, once you add crime into that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if we talking about community and community building and that type of shit, then I'm all for that. But like once you start adding like, oh, like I'm doing this, they getting in the way of my money, then and violence starts to ensue, then like you have confusion, and lack of resources always leads to poverty.
Right,
you know what I mean? Jail and all that other silly shit. So
right, and one of the most important things for me now, like, because one of the things I'm focused on, just having this platform, is for me is talking about just breaking these generational curses that we as a community suffer from.
Right.
But having that structure at such a young age, it's crazy how that affected who you are now. Like
absolutely.
It's made you, like, how has that structure made you so dominant or effective in the industry itself?
Because I never was a leader growing up. I never was a leader. Like, I never was like, you know, like growing up, like you in school, every class, I feel like every class everywhere had this same thing. Like, you got the pretty boy that get all the girls, or you got the pretty boy that get all the girls that he just chill, and then you got the other boy who like he the funniest one, so everybody laugh at him. Then you got the one kid that's the super tough guy that never wants to play, and then everybody else kind of fits in between. And then it's the same structure for the girls. You know what I'm saying? It's like the same structure for the girls. Like for me, I always was like a person who was in between. I never knew like. I didn't really want to be a bad kid, but I never really wanted to be like the best student either. You know what I mean? Like I always fell in between. So like as I've grown, like I always say this, like I learned how to do the right thing by doing the wrong thing. You know what I mean? Like and people always say like your parents always tell you don't be a follower, but like you gotta follow somebody. Like I feel like in order to be a great leader, you had to have follow some people. And like I follow some horrible people, but I follow some great people too. So it's like, my life now, I apply all the shit that like that, because when you look back, like I be looking back and I be thinking about like all these different things that brought me happiness. I feel like when you're a kid, the only thing that you remember is if people treated you good or people treated you bad. You don't really remember like too much in between. You just remember like the nicest person or the meanest person. Right. And like for me, I just always, as I got older, was like, I was learning this whole time. So when I'm dropping out of school and I'm like feeling like I'm not learning shit, I'm learning things in a different capacity. So I'm not learning the skill set that's put forth for me to apply it. I'm learning some other shit that I'm not gonna know I'm gonna need for another 15 years when I'm 15 years old. Right. So it's like I apply like leadership qualities, like when it comes to running my company, or I'm a vice president at a label. Like I gotta everybody there is younger than me. Right. Other than the person that's my boss, she's older than me, but like everybody else is younger than me. So it's like they looking at me when the boat starts shaking, everybody gonna look at the captain first. He ain't even have to do nothing. You know what I mean? So I just learned how to like hold my composure and have poise and like kind of help build people. Because I had to build myself in a lot of different ways, but I had people help build me. So I just try to help build people for the most part.
Yeah, and specifically with that, because a lot of people don't realize that in order to get to a certain place in life that you have to pour into people. And because I think a lot of people spend so much time taking, people don't realize like how important it is to be balanced. Right. Like and that's just for me what I think about kids and what we have to teach in school. I think we got to teach kids just about like relational intelligence, like just the things when it comes down to creating boundaries, to creating expectations, to creating non-negotiables. Because I think like that structure alone, like you could teach a kid that half base times height equals whatever. I think it's
I don't even know what that means.
But like when it comes to stuff like that, these are things that they teach you in high school, but these are not things we get to apply every single day of our life.
Bro, let me tell you something, man. My mom always used to tell me, like, if I had finished school, that I probably would have been like a billionaire, something like that. Crazy, right? But like, I'm not against school by no means, but school is a system. And it's an institution, and just like any other institution, you can be institutionalized and you can be put in a position where I don't want to get shit twisted, because I know I'm not going to say the wrong thing. We got this thing now where everybody believes that they should be a owner or have a business, or like everybody feels like that, right? Right. But like everybody doesn't have the capability to do that. Right. Now, school is basically, I feel like school basically builds like the working force of America, and specifically because that's where we're from. Like it builds the working force of America, and like along that way you find where you navigate. But for the most part, no school doesn't really like, I don't know, because I ain't go to school, so I don't want to say school don't make, school definitely makes like entrepreneurs and great creatives and all that, but I feel like the way that we learn has to change. It has to change all the time. Right. Like I one time I was asking my kids, I asked them like, did they know the Pledge of Allegiance? And they was like, no. I'm like, you don't know the Pledge of Allegiance? I was like, they don't make you do that? They was like, no. I was like, y'all don't know the Pledge of Allegiance, like or the national anthem. It was like, yo, that shit is so engraved in me. It could come on right now. Like I could hear the beat or the tones in that shit and I could know it. Right. That's how much it's engraved in me. Yeah. So I just feel like today, the way the world is shifted and way things go, is like you can't keep teaching things one way, because kids I didn't turn into anything I was taught.
Right.
Nothing, bro. Like nothing. It's nothing that I ever took in school, and I'm not knocking school, but nothing I ever learned in school I turned into. I didn't. The only thing I applied that I learned in school, and I'm a high school dropout, I don't say that proudly, is reading and writing. Right. And not even writing, because I don't write anymore, but like right. Technology, but I'm talking about like just reading, math, and comprehension skills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah. That's crazy when you say that, as far as like even the fact that you dropped out of high school.
Yeah.
Like, because I think that it's important for people to know that there's still success after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, and like I personally, I went to high school, I went to college, got my degree in theater. Mm-hmm. But I think it's important for kids to go through it. I think it's important to try.
Absolutely.
Like to at least create some structure, because some people don't have that structure at home.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't work, I think there also has to be a conversation of what people can do after if that doesn't work. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that the conversation is even there, because we don't encourage. There's no encouragement. If at least finish high school.
I'm happy that you said that, because like my encouragement, like I feel like my drive comes from being discouraged. But my discouragement, like that within itself is like I was shy. I was the only child for 10 years. And my mom, I was her everything.
Right.
But like I was very shy about a lot of stuff, because I didn't have like every experience I had. I didn't have it with a brother. Like I didn't have any siblings like that. So it's like,
right.
My discouragement came with like I hated embarrassment. You know what I mean? Like when we were kids, because we've like from the same era, like the toughest thing for me was to for people to for me to feel like I couldn't do something. So like for me to feel like, my mom would always tell me like, no, you can. But like when you fail, I used to like when I would fail, I never looked at failing as like, it's hard to teach a kid that failing is a lesson, because it's adults that can't accept that construct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's hard for a kid to feel like, oh, I got a 50 and I need a 65 to pass. And even though that's 15 more points, I tried my hardest.
Right.
It's hard to really engrave that in somebody. So it's like, I got so discouraged by failing, I just wouldn't try. Like I would rather, like when I was a kid, I would rather not try and just fail with a 0 than to try and know what my result was going to be. And but like once, I don't know, bro. Like I don't know how I got away from that. And I think that goes back to like how you said, like the generational curses, and like, because I come from a happy home. Like I had my grandmother. I lived with my grandmother and my father. I mean, my mother. I never lived with my father. I lived with my grandmother and my mother, and then my little sister, and it was us for a long time.
Right.
And so, like growing up in a house, it's hard for a young woman. My mother had me when she was 21. It's hard for a young woman to raise a child on her own, whether it's a boy or a girl. But specifically being a boy, you know, I dealt with a lot of doubt because I didn't have the encouragement of my father in my household. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, my mom telling me I could do it, I'm listening, but like, I think it would have been different if my dad would have been able to do it.
Right.
But I had to get over that shit. Like, you know what I mean? I had to get over it. And eventually I was able to put myself in a space where I looked at failing as, you know, a test all times. You know what I mean? Like failing doesn't determine who you will be. Right.
Now, I think when I think about your father not being there, like, and you now being a dad, like, how does that enforce your commitment to fatherhood?
Well, my father, he was there, but it's like my father, him and my mom broke up when I was like, I think they didn't break up because of me, but like they broke up or whatever. And my father 10 years older than my mother, you know what I'm saying? So like my father also a street nigga. So like he was running around in the street doing his thing or whatever. And like, I had my father my entire life. I just didn't live with him. Right. Or I didn't see him all the time. So it's like, I know that my father lives on the other side of town, but it's like, I can only think of him when I want to, like, I can't FaceTime him. Like, you know what I mean? Kids.
Right.
So for me, when I became a father, I just wanted to be like, I didn't want to be like my father. Like, I ain't gonna lie, yo, I never wanted to be like my father. And I love my father. Yo, I swear my father is like my best friend.
Right.
But I did not want to be like him. We actually, when I was 13, he asked me who my role model was, and I told him Michael Jordan, and he got upset. Yo, bro, he really got tight. Like, he like, well, who your role model? And I said Michael Jordan. He said, I'm not your role model. I was like, no. Like, I'm like, no. Like, you're not my role model. And so he asked another nigga in the store, like, yo, he said I'm not his role model. The dude like, what? Your father get money? And I was like, I don't care. He can't play better ball than Michael Jordan. Like, so I like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, I say this all the time, bro. I wanted to be dark skinned because of Michael Jordan, bro. Michael Jordan and Kadeem Hardison. Yeah, oh my God, bro. Like, I wanted to be Kadeem Hardison so bad.
Yo, Dwayne Wade was so
Dwayne
cool.
Wade? Yeah, Dwayne Wade.
It was so cool.
He had all the girls liking him. He had all the Jordans, and he was funny. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, it was so funny how that, like, and definitely feels old because we're talking about this, and another kid doesn't even know what
we're talking about. Right, exactly.
But the impact for me, and I tell people this all the time, and it's so crazy we get to have this conversation. The impact of just the Cosby Show culture on my life,
bro.
I tell people all the time. My parents sent me to Nigeria for 5 years. Because and it was probably because my mother probably said something like, go to your room, and I was like, I'm not going to my room. My parents like, you're Nigerian and you don't hear me when I tell you you're going to Nigeria next month. So next thing you know, they bought me like a ticket to go to Nigeria for like 5 years. 5 years? But yo, I didn't. The ticket was not.
What age was you when you went there?
6, yo.
I mean, that's 5. But I can't remember. Like, if I was 6, I don't know if I would have cared or not.
I remembered.
Wait, they just said you didn't like. Not one of them went with you.
Yo, it was so.
I front, man. I love like African people because like that's my descent. But y'all cold, man. Cold. Y'all cold. Africans and Jamaicans cold, bro.
Cold. Like I'm telling you, it was like one day I was watching He-Man and something on TV, and the next day I was hearing roosters wake you up at 6:30 in the morning. 5 years, yo. But the things we went
at 6 years old.
At 6 years old,
that's crazy.
That was ice cold, dog.
That's crazy.
So I just remember moving to Nigeria, and then when we got there, my mother sent me she probably sent me like season 1 through 5 of the Cosby Show.
Right.
So we were watching Cosby Show every day. Mm-hmm. That was all we were watching. We was watching that, and maybe towards the end, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air came out. Yeah. So it was like, oh. But the thing about the black family that was portrayed on the Cosby Show was such a beauty. And I don't even know if now to this day, some days I wonder if I romanticize that idea.
Bro, do you know that, I mean, subconsciously, and I learned this by like working in music. It's like let's say you're a producer and you make beats. It could have been a song that your mom played every day when you was a kid, and then one day like you come up with this beat and you sample something and you don't even know, and you're like, how? And the musicologist will tell you like you subconsciously influenced by that sound, so you made a sound from that thing. So what I'm saying is like, of course you romanticize it, bro. I kid you not. I don't think I could never live in a house. I wouldn't care if I had a condo a mile long. I can't live in a house without stairs because that's all I ever wanted when I was a kid. I always wanted to be in the living room and see somebody come downstairs because of the Cosby Show. Like, for real, bro. Right. I always wanted stairs because of the Cosby Show. Like, Christmas happens, they running downstairs. Like,
Thanksgiving happened,
they running downstairs. The performance, like, that's what I'm saying, the stairs. But I think, like, I mean, aside from all the shit we know that's going on, transpired with Bill Cosby, it's like, there's a lot of influences, like Spike Lee, bro. Like, Spike Lee, man. I remember I met Spike Lee. Right. First of all, when I met him, DJ Clark Kent introduced me to him. Mm-hmm. He bigged me up. Sometimes I hate when people introduce me to people because, like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but people big me up so crazy, bro. I don't know what to say after they, like, introduce me. And so, like, yo, he introduced me to Spike Lee, and Spike Lee was like, damn, can I have your number? You know what I mean? He's like, can we go eat or something? I was like, absolutely. Like, you know what I mean? But, bro, it meant so much to meet him because I always kick myself because I didn't finish school because School Days. You know what I mean? That movie. The Cosby Show, A Different World. The thing I loved about, like, I remember Lena Waithe said this. She was like, because people used to always say, like, don't let the TV raise your kids. I definitely was raised by TV.
I definitely was too.
I definitely was raised by TV. But between shows, sitcoms, and sports, definitely raised by TV. So like, as I become an adult, it's so many different things that I take from, like, think about like how we would look at, I know what type of father I wanted to be or the type of father I wanted based on the fathers I watched on television.
Right.
Even down to The Simpsons. I ain't even going front, bro. Even down to The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted my father to be funny like Homer.
Right. Exactly.
Like, for real. Like,
and Carl Winslow.
Carl Winslow, bro. Like, yo, man, it was so crazy. Is I remember, like, being a kid. You know, it was one of my favorite shows as a kid, bro. All in the Family.
All in the Family.
And it's mad racist. You know what I mean? But the crazy thing about it was, like, when I was a kid, I couldn't differentiate. I didn't know what acting was. So it was like, I'm watching All in the Family, and then my grandmother would watch Heat in the Night, where the guy who plays Archie Bunker was a cop.
Yeah,
so I would watch it,
like,
she'd be sitting there watching it. And you remember, like, it ain't much TV.
Plays the chief.
So watch. And then chief. So when I'm watching, I'm sitting here like, when this nigga gonna tell a joke? Like, excuse me. I'm like, so I just think that, like, we're definitely influenced by so many things, like, subconsciously. That's why, like, for me, I try to make sure that when I do get the opportunity to talk, I don't look at any platform any different. I wouldn't care if, like, somebody in the street asked me to do their podcast and it was on the basketball court or something like that.
Right.
I have to say something that's gonna resonate with people or something that they're gonna take away, because, like, those people that we looked up to when we were kids have changed into us now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like people call me an influencer. I'm a man. That's how I call myself. But, like, I'm an influencer, all these different things. So I'm not trying to be out here talking silly. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think for me too, the same thing when it comes to, like, just what people will call an influencer. I'm like, yo, my legacy is so important now. Right. Just because, like, you know, I think God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And for me, like, I juggle a lot. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, it's an inspiration between. I see how you juggle. I see how Envy juggles, and just being in that space.
Envy the man.
Yo, Envy's hustle is crazy. It's crazy. Like, sometimes, like, I'll hit him at 5:30 in the morning because I know that's the best time to get him if I want to talk to him on the phone. Right. Outside of that, anytime during the day, you're not catching Envy. Yeah. But just to see how he's able to balance family life, how he's able to balance real estate, how he's able to balance being a DJ, the car stuff. So, like, God won't give you no more. He won't give you more than you can handle. Right. And when it comes to what you have going on right now, as far as even being VP, you know, that was something that kicked off, like, what, last summer?
No, 2019.
2019.
I mean, because remember.
Oh, like, that was 2 summers ago. Like last summer don't count. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like we kind of forget. It's like a whole year went by. Like, it's like 2020.
Yeah,
2020 was a crazy year, man.
How has that process been? Like, now, like, as you've in that, I think the everyday struggle was still going on at that time.
Absolutely. I did everyday struggle for 3 years.
So balancing being vice president and being on the show, being a father, so many endless opportunities that you don't even discuss. You have a specific artist that you're working with.
Artists, man, it's a lot. Well, I mean, the way I kind of learned that, first and foremost, I somebody said this on a podcast the other day. Bridget Kelly, she said this on a podcast the other day. She said we have did she say financial PTSD? PTSD. I think she said that. I can't remember specifically what it was, but it's like, bro, I was so broke.
Oh my God.
I was so broke for so long, like, and I'm not like, I ain't gonna say what I am because I'm good. Like, I'm really good, but like I don't ever want to, like, bro. I don't ever want to, like, I have a fear. I have a fear, bro. I was talking. I did so I've been doing this series called History in the Making, and I had Big Sean and Hit Boy on, and me and Big Sean was having a discussion, and I said to him about the fear, and he said that we gotta stop living in fear and learn how to live life, because it's like, bro, I think, like, I'm so scarred by, like, growing up in, I won't call it the hood. I say the hood, but the hood is a mindset. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not actually a place. It's really a mindset. I'm so scarred by that mindset and, like, all the stuff that I've endured in there. It's like, I can never, I can never, ever in my life deal with that again. And like, so first and foremost, that's why I do so much, because I'm like, I hustle like there's an eviction notice on my door every day, and it's not like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
All my bills on auto pay. I don't even see the money I be getting sometimes, and I still work like I don't have it. But I don't think that I've had fun a lot of times because of that.
Right.
Now, the way I'm able to juggle all of these different things is because first and foremost, my foundation is my family, and I had that before I had anything. Right. So like, when all this industry shit is going on and it's the parties and it's that third, bro, I go home. That's the solution to, I avoid so much BS by just going to the crib. Right. Somebody, if you hit me on a Friday night, like it be people that's like from LA or from Atlanta, Miami, they be in the city, they be like, yo, what's going on Friday? I'm in the bed watching the doubleheader on ESPN. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I don't look at that as like I'm because I'm not an old man. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm not an old man by what society's idea of what old is, but I'm mature and like I know what matters the most. Right. So I learned how to juggle a lot of these things by my mentor. It's like he's really the only white person I really trust. Right. You know what I mean? But my mentor, his name is John Ziegler, and he was the head of creative services at Pix 11. I used to work at Pix 11. And
WPIX.
Yeah, man, WPIX. I used to work there. I started out in the office services department, which, mailroom was my skill because that's the only thing I had. And after music had fell apart, I jumped back into that. But he had hired me as a marketing coordinator. Which basically what I did was I placed ads on television in different markets. Right. And this man put his job on the line by telling him I had a bachelor degree, you know what I mean, to give me the job. But our common denominator is like he was a white dude that grew up poor, and he used to tell me like, yo, when I was growing up, the only people I could depend on was black people. You know what I mean? Because I grew up in the hood too. Yeah. So he instilled in me a lot of different, like, no bullshit. He's the second man in my life to my pops. That's how real it is with me and him, because I don't know if he didn't instill the confidence in me at a certain point in time, I wouldn't be the man I am. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like I used to watch this dude. He come into work, the first hour of work, he drink his green tea, he handle a few emails, he go downstairs to the newsroom to have a meeting. He come upstairs, he leave, he come back, he come back, he's working, and then the next day he comes in. He got bruises. I'm like, why you got bruises? He's like, I be practicing. I take jujitsu. You know what I mean? Like, he really was doing some James Bond shit. So as I'm watching this, man, like I started implementing because he was a father and he was a grandfather and he was a businessman and he was a caring, a man, like a man's man. So like I started learning how to implement like different things that he would do into what I do. So I mimicked it. You know what I mean? I'm like, so his assistant ended up becoming my assistant after we leave that company. Wow. So I learned a lot of shit from her, and me and him still cool, but like I would ask her like, how did he do this? She'd be like, yo, he manages his hour by the minutes. Right. So it's like the first 15 minutes, if he ain't gonna do shit, that's what he doing. The next 15, he got this call. The next 15, he has to put together these next 4 or 5 emails. The next 15, he does that. Then the next hour, he's doing whatever he's doing. So I'm just like, I could do that. Like, if you got to have examples. Right. So it's like when I seen him, I mean, ironically, being a black man, you want to see a black person doing it. Right. But this is a white man. I love him to death. But he was the person who really showed me that shit and helped me ingrain that into my grind. So I'm forever grateful to him. You know what I mean?
Yo, you just touched on so many things. I know I talk too much, bro. Nah, it's all good. The first part that you touched on is the mindset that you were talking about, as far as like how we're in a space of fear of like losing it all. I know what it's like as an entrepreneur, because opportunities come my way and I'm like, nah, I'm never going back to that. Never. Like, I still have screenshots in my phone from 4 years ago when all 3 accounts were in negative. Oh yeah. And I just like to look at it, because I remember people used to be like, yo, I'm about to not even Zelle wasn't around, I'm about to send some money through bank. Do not send that to that account. Let me just come get it. You ain't getting none of that. Because that money ain't coming in my account, so don't send it. But it's definitely now, like, I'm working on this. Like, I'm reading what is it? Joe Dispenza's book on superpowers. Like, it's just the mind, like the power of the mind, and being able to like stop working out of a place of lack. And that's why the prayers, the fasting is so important, because we're in a space of like, once we can get out of a mindset of lack, we can start to unlock things that come our way just because thoughts become things. You know what I mean? And it sounds so, when you're not in that mindset, it sounds so cliche. Thoughts become things.
It sounds crazy. It's not.
It's like, oh boy, yeah.
But that's projection and manifesting. And like, bro, it's like what you said about like the mindset, right? It's like I grew up in the Bronx. I grew up in Harlem. I be thinking like, bro, I've seen a casket in every single size, and like, you know, what's that thing they say, survivor's remorse?
Yeah.
Like, I used to have that a lot, but like, my wife, her best friend is a therapist, and she runs like these Zoom sessions with all these different people where they talk about different things, and she says something about like not being married to your trauma, right? Like not being married to it. So it's like, cause you can't live, like, you know what I mean? Like bro, for a very long time, I didn't feel comfortable going certain places unless there was a weapon around.
Right.
And then as I got older, I'm not comfortable going anywhere with his weapons. You know what I mean? In that sense. Right. So it's like unlearning a lot of this stuff that I thought was normal. You know what I mean? In order to have some sort of living. And I'm not talking like a financial living. I'm just talking about peace of mind. Because it's like, bro, that scared part, bro, that shit is, it's hard to understand what fear is and to not fear. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard, and I've been trying to break out of it and trying to like understand where I sit in that space, but like I'm just so stuck on what you said about that mindset, bro, because it's like it's so hard to break a mindset.
It is. It's a daily process. Like even for you, like therapy, something you do?
No, I never did it. I'm going to, but I want to wait until like after like all this, because I can't do that through Zoom, yo. Because I'm not going to be. I can't express myself through no computer, and like it's a lot of stuff that I never tackled in my life that like I gotta let out. I'm gonna cry like a baby. Yeah, I can't do that over Zoom. You know what I mean? Like, I can't. Right. So it's something I didn't know what the word. I'm 38. I didn't know what the word trauma meant till I was like 33 years old. Right. So it's like I definitely wanna do all those things, but another thing is like I feel like my problem is all of the things that I do sometimes, because I'm so hell bent on like success. I can't see that I'm already successful.
Right. And it you know, so crazy is for me that I realized that we spend so much time and we look at, and I forget who I was talking to recently, it was about success being the top of the mountain, right? It's like, but the real success is enjoying the journey. Yeah. Enjoying the journey going up the mountain. Right. But we spend so much time that we finally get to the top of the mountain and we missed the entire journey.
Oh, that's a fact.
You know what I mean? So like that's why for me, like I started going to therapy because I was like, I knew how important it, and you know the crazy thing, I went to therapy because I really said I don't think anything's wrong with me, but I want to go to therapy because everybody says let's go to therapy. So I went, started talking, and I'm like, wow, I really suffer from that. I really suffer from imposter syndrome. Like even being in a space where I've walked into certain rooms and I get in there and let's just say envy brings me somewhere and it's like, yo, bro, we going to this place. Yeah. You get to this room, everybody's like, yo, Mr. My God versus my enemies. Yo, you got the brand, that's crazy, bro. Yeah. How did you scale your business? And I'm like, scale. Oh, I scaled my business. Scale. Right. What scale your business? Right. Like, because we didn't grow up with all, like, you know, where I am right now with the brand, I understand what it takes to build a brand. When I first came in, I didn't understand. So having to deal with that imposter syndrome itself is another thing. Yeah. Because until you tackle that, like this fear when you get in certain rooms, you don't even want to talk.
Yeah.
You don't want to open your mouth because you don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, like, God won't take you nowhere that he doesn't believe you belong.
You know it's so crazy that like I learned how to deal with the room thing when I was really young, because like when I was like 20, first time I ever drank Cristal, I was 20 years old. I was in a room with Jay-Z and Beyonce. You know what I mean?
I would have felt like an imposter.
So, but this the thing, right? It's like now, like I ain't gonna front, bro. I haven't seen Beyonce in a very long time, but but I be seeing Beyonce, I be like, yo, that's crazy. Like I used to be in the studio with her all the time, like when I worked at Roc-A-Fella. You know what I mean? Because she was there around Jay, and like what I learned was I had this conversation. The reason why I'm saying that is because I had a conversation with Young Guru one time, and we was at South by Southwest, and this is when I first started managing Dave East, and we was there with Nas, and of course, if everybody knows Jay-Z and Nas' history, they know it. And you know, now I'm managing Dave East, an artist that signed to Nas, and I'm like, I say to Guru, I said, yo, this is crazy. He said, what you mean? I say, yo, I used to work for Jay, and like I know Jay, and I'm like, yo, I'm around Nas. He's like, it's not crazy. He said, it's not crazy. He said it was built, like you was destined for stuff like this.
Right.
I think when you living in real time, it's hard to understand what's coming, but you just have to have like some sort of composure or poise as to like to prepare yourself, because you never know what room you're gonna be in. Right. But when you're in that room, you're not in there. You ain't in there because you like you slipped in the back door, or you paid. Like you in there because like your work, you know. And everybody always like attaches success to money, success to a car, success to the house, or like a type of woman you deal with, or even for a woman, the type of man you deal with, or like how your kids dress. Material success is a feeling of accomplishment. Right. I used to have a streetwear brand. It was called Cool Mentality. Do you remember that?
Had it. Kid with the gun.
You had this shirt?
Yeah, I had the shirt.
All right, the kid with the AK with the rose.
Absolutely.
The African kid.
Yes.
Makes sense as why you had it. but look, right? So I remember, if I could think about every sale that I've made from Cool Mentality, I can't remember any money I made. I can't remember any money I made, but I sold everything I've had. But I can't remember any money I made, because the money is like, I'm playing, like I'm going to print. It take a month to print. By the time I sell everything, it's the middle of the month. My bills is due. It's, you know how it is.
It's a hustle,
bro. I had an event. My man, his family owns Harlem Haberdashery, and they wanted to give me an event. He asked me that I want to do an event for the brand. I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, you could do an event, but we need like 50% of the sales. And I'm like, I'm not gonna make any money, like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, but I need to have the event. Right. So I'm like, all right, cool. I have the event. I had this, like, my promo picture was my son was, this is 2012. My son had to be like 4. The picture was like him with no shirt on in the middle of the project with American flag on his face and wearing black shades, right? So it's a little kid. And the reason why I did that is because I started to understand marketing. I took a little business class in the hood. That was $50, and I started to understand like marketing and why we like love Nike so much. You know what I mean? Why I wanted to be dark skinned like Michael Jordan, because of marketing. How they got this nigga flying through the air, dunking on everybody, and drinking juice. And I'm like, I'll drink that juice. You know, I want to be like Mike, but I don't want to go too far off. But I was like, how am I gonna get people to come to this? Like people's gonna come and support me, but I'm like, how am I gonna make any sort of impact? Right. Kid you not. The impact, the success that I had from that event was not anything that I sold. The success was I came up with this idea that if you wanted to enter the event, I was going to charge you. Right. But what I charged was a picture in front of the picture with my son, and you had to put it on either your Instagram or your Twitter or your Facebook. Right. So, and you had to I didn't even know. I just knew with like this is in 2012, so like I didn't even know
Instagram was like in its
very new. They didn't have video Instagram.
They didn't.
So it wasn't even like hashtags. I didn't even know like they wasn't even putting hashtags in commercials at that time. I don't think
hashtag wasn't even like
it wasn't even like a thing.
That was a IT word,
right? Exactly. So I put I just like hashtag cool mentality,
right,
bro. By the end of the night, I only made like $280. I probably sold like $600 worth of product. I made $280. But Smooth Magazine reached out to me, and this is what people still was buying magazines.
Right.
A few other publications reached out to me, and they wanted to interview me because they was like, "Yo, my whole entire timeline, all I kept seeing was these shirts and these pictures, and everybody that I knew was at this event, and like that was the most like I said, bro, I can't remember no money, but that was the most success I felt." From that whole entire tenure with the brand,
right? And
it wasn't a dollar amount attached to it. So it's like I just say that because I don't want like the person who may see this to feel like, damn man, I've been trying to sell my shirts, or I'm doing my cosmetic line, or I'm threading eyebrows, and not enough people is coming through, and I only had one person this month. Just keep going,
right?
Just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, even with like because that whole journey of like building a brand, like it's and even from like like from working with in the mailroom to going to working with Roc-A-Fella to working with state property, the whole journey in itself. And then like one of the most important parts of the journey to me, people don't pay attention to, there was that moment when Roc-A-Fella split.
Yeah.
That process, how long before the dust cleared? Like when the process of the break began to when it did, how long was that process?
Bro, first of all, nobody knew. It was way above my pay grade to know that something like that was gonna happen. But the thing was, it's like I think like Roc-A-Fella is a very, 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 very big gift and a curse in my career. The gift is I learned like all of these great things, and I was around like some of the greatest music. I was in the studio when Kanye played the beat to Jay-Z for Never Let Me Down.
And he says, ooh, and he does that.
No, that wasn't then.
No.
Bro, the day, I'll just tell it because I always end up telling the Roc-A-Fella story anyway. But it was Freeway's birthday. We was in the studio, we drinking and all that. Jay was working on Blueprint 2. This is like 2002. I think Freeway's birthday's in August or sometime. Kanye comes in and he like, yo, let me play some beats. So he puts on Never Let Me Down. It's the first time I ever seen Jay record.
Right.
So like Jay hears the beat, he go in the corner, he says shit to himself, and then he goes in the booth and he does the shit in one take. And then like I never hear it again until it comes out on College Dropout. Wow. But he didn't do it for Kanye's album. Like he did it for Blueprint. Yo, bro, it's mad songs that was supposed to go on Blueprint 2 that he did that never saw the light of day, or they end up being on somebody else's album that wasn't for their album.
Right.
But the reason why I say it's a gift and a curse is because Roc-A-Fella, when you got in, it's like the mob, bro. It's like family.
Right.
Like I swear, it's literally like Jay-Z's like somebody I only see in videos and magazines, and I'm literally like eating off the same plate with him at his birthday party.
Right.
So like, how I was with artists in my career, I have the worst. I'm the worst with a sad story. An artist tell me a sad story, I'd be like, oh, let me change your life. Like, oh, come on, I'll get you $1 million. Come on, like, you know what I mean? I always do that. But and sometimes it doesn't permit me to see the right business decision.
Right.
But when that whole thing happened, I was very, very young, and like Roc-A-Fella was Jay and his homies, and they mostly from Brooklyn, with the exception of like Lenny S. and who's from the Bronx, and then you got Dame and all his homies who's from Harlem.
Right.
And even though I'm from Harlem, I'm with all the Philly guys.
Right.
Because they just like me, and I took a liking to them. And we didn't know it was gonna happen. And when it actually did happen, it was like the worst day of our lives, bro. It was like it literally like, and I'm not. People might say, "Oh, it's like your parents splitting up, bro."
Right.
It's literally I don't know what happened when my mother and my father split up, but if you got Jay-Z, who's the biggest artists at the time, and you got Dame, who is like the backdrop of all the business and all of that, and like kind of like the fuel of the car, and Jay's the car, and they break up, and it's like, and for a 21-year-old kid that don't know, I didn't even know what the word career meant till I was 26 years old.
Right.
I didn't know what to do. I was like,
I mean, because I heard in that process, but one thing that like I felt like was so admirable in the moment is that like next thing you know, you were working at Bed Bath and Beyond.
Well, I went to try to get. So it was two things. Was it Bed Bath? Yeah, it was that summer. What happened was Beans had went to jail.
Whew, everything went downhill.
Cause I was like, it was a point in time where the only way you could contact Beans was through me.
Right.
Like I wasn't his manager or nothing. I just was the person that was with him all the time. Right. So like I went from, it's like, all right, he went to jail. I didn't have a job at Roc-A-Fella anymore. So no, it wasn't. It was Bed Bath & Beyond, but I had a security job too. I had got a security job. But the thing about it was like, I didn't tell anybody that I was, cause I had nothing to legitimize it. There's no Instagram. It was no MySpace.
Right.
Like, I think it was Black Planet was around, but niggas wasn't using Black Planet like that. So like, I used to be in, I literally a year earlier, I'm on tour on the Rock the Mic tour, and then now I'm sitting in the security class with like, that's very discouraging.
Now in that moment, like, what part did faith play in that journey? Like, man, as far as, because I know in this same time frame you had that's when you had converted to Islam somewhere. Like when I
was 20, when
you was working, and that was we're working with state property.
Yeah.
How did that play a part in your ability to get through, to keep the tenacity to keep pushing?
I'll say this, like, and we were speaking prior, my journey with faith has been a long one, because like when I was a kid, my family, like my mom's side of the family, they West Indian. Mm-hmm. My great grandmother from Montserrat. She's born in Montserrat, and she lived in, this is my mother's mom. Mm-hmm. She was born in Montserrat. She lived in Trinidad for a bit, and then she came to America. But she had my grandmother. My grandfather is from Jamaica. I never met my grandfather before. Mm-hmm. My great grandfather, I mean. My mother never met her grandfather either. She never met my grandmother's father.
Right.
They were Hebrew. Mm. So when from the time I was a little kid, I used to wear Star David. Like I got pictures of me like 2-3 years old with a yarmulke on.
Right.
My Hebrew name was Benyomin. You know what I mean? Like, but I didn't know what it was for real, because like the thing with religion, a lot of people just impose it on their children, and they don't teach them that. They just like, you better do what we do.
Right.
Like you can only do what we do, and like I wouldn't say I don't respect it, but I don't agree with that.
Right.
Because I feel like everybody has their own spiritual journey.
Right.
So growing up being Hebrew, the confusing part was we celebrating Christmas.
Right.
But I'm the only person in my class that knows what Hanukkah is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we coloring in the what's it called? What's that thing called, man?
What?
With that you like for the candles for Hanukkah?
Oh, I don't even know the name. I can't
remember, but we had one of those in my house. And my mom, but they lighting but we celebrating Christmas. So, but then when like a Jewish person would see me with a yarmulke on, they would say something like a racist shit. You know what I mean? So like, but then like as I'm a teenager, my mom we start going to the church, and when we lived in Maryland for a year, we started going to the Catholic church. But I never went. Matter of fact, before I even went, the first time I went to a church, I might have been like 8 years old in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'd never been in church a day in my life. It was the biggest culture shock ever. And my only iteration of like church was the show Amen. Remember that show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Shine on me. With
my man from
George Jefferson was in that shit.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever his real name is. I
can't think of it right now. That's a shame.
But I seen a person catch a Holy Ghost when I was 8. Cause
you were blown away.
I was dying laughing. It's the funniest shit I ever seen in my life. No bullshit. And I was like, but you gotta remember, bro. In the synagogue, we going on Saturday. That was the blow, bro, because we have to go to synagogue on Saturdays. And then when you Hebrew, yo, you don't eat all day, bro.
Wow.
You don't eat nothing all day, and then by the time you do eat, they give you like a piece of this. I swear, it was like a little leaf. Like they give you like this little leaf. You eat the leaf, and then like the food was lit at night, but like you had to wait till like 7 o'clock.
Starving all day,
bro. We in there from like 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. I can't see none of the cartoons. Yo, I used to hate going to synagogue, bro. They got me reading the Torah. No man is coming over to me and saying, "Yo, this the Torah."
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like nobody's coming to me like, "Yo, this the Torah. This is what it means. This is, Moses, Abraham."
Right.
Because the biggest misconception about all faiths is that they not joined in some sort of way.
Right.
So I know I'm going.
No, it's all good.
So
what we talking about?
So as I get when I become a teenager, my mom, we moved to Harlem. My mom, we started going to church. We started going to church like on New Year's.
Right.
So we go wash all the clothes and then we go to church. So then we start going to church every now and then. And the problem I had with going to church was this, right? This is the problem I had with going to church. We in church and I'm sitting next to, like, me and my mom, but we sitting next to random people. Yo, when people coming in, they frying them. Like, niggas is like, oh, you see that bitch dressed? Like, yo, she like this old lady's like, you see what this bitch wore to church today? Like, who she think she is? And I'm like, I'm not really paying it no mind, but it's kind of crazy to me, right?
But it's sitting.
We all supposed to be cool, right?
Right.
So look, this was the thing with me with church. I won't say it's the last time I went to church, but like I remember, bro. I go to what was it? We in church one day, and the pastor said, he like, I want all the young people to come up here, all the young people, right? All the young people. So like, be a bunch of young kids. So he talking, but he keep like directing this crazy energy to me, bro. Like, he keep like pointing at me, like he keep like looking at me. I'm like, why you keep looking like? But my problem was, and I understand why he's trying to do it. Like he was implementing like rap lyrics into the sermon.
Right.
So he like, yeah, cause y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here. He like, I know a lot of y'all wanna, wow. Like I'm just sitting here like, come on, my nigga, like you blowing my shit. Like, yo, brother, I came here to pray and to talk to God and for you to tell me some shit to motivate me for Monday, cause Monday gonna be a bitch. So so I started to feel somewhat of a disconnect. But growing up, like I said, we was Hebrew. My mom made me do the Serenity Prayer every night.
All right.
Like we did the Serenity Prayer every night. And that's another thing. Like even with me being Muslim, bro, it's tons of principles I've learned in Christianity, Baptist, all of that. Cause my family down south, they all Baptist. I ain't say when I seen the Holy Ghost, I started dying laughing. My grandmother, she from Fayetteville, she whooped my ass, bro. I tell you, she whooped my ass, and then when we got home from church, bro, she made me go to sleep at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock p.m., bro, to the next day. Like, this shit is crazy. Like, I was like 9 years old. Like,
you up at 1 a.m. Like,
no, I didn't I don't think I got up, bro. Cause I ain't gonna lie, yo, so my father's mother, yo, she was a mean lady, man. Like, yo, I love her, yo. We called her mama. She ain't have no teeth and she bit me one time, bro. Like, she is a mean lady, but like,
that's traumatic right there.
It is, because I told you earlier, you always forget how, you always remember how people treat you good, people treat you bad.
Yeah.
But aside from that, so I said all that to get to when I became Muslim. So it got to a point where, around when I was 19, I have them tattooed on my arm. First friend, I told you about my god brothers that lived across the street. It's 5 of them, then I'm born, and the youngest one is born. He was born in 1985. He got murdered. He got murdered January 9th, 2003. I was 19 at the time, going on 20. And when he got murdered, the closest person that had died in my life was my grandfather when I was like 10, 11, and that really bothered me. Mm-hmm. But then, like, when I was like, I'm not going to say, but I was just seeing a lot of crazy things in my neighborhood. Right. But then when, like, because he was 17, I was 19, and we, like, my mom and his mom was friends. So we was friends by, like, he's my god brother, but we friends by default. Right. So, like, it's not that I didn't feel connected to the church. It's that, like, when I got in the Roc-A-Fella, well, I said that about my friend because it really affected me, like, my faith and all of that. But when I got into Roc-A-Fella and I was around Beanie Siegel and all of them, they was Muslims, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that kind of struck out to me with them was like, I don't care what we was doing, bro. We could be on a video shoot, we could be on the road, they would stop everything to pray.
It makes a lot.
It makes a lot. So like, and then I seen like the brotherhood they had amongst one another, which I don't feel that like, because you know faith is one of the biggest things that divides us.
Right.
I don't feel that like Islam for me, I went in, like a lot of people say like Islam is like the best thing you could possibly do. I don't feel that way. Mm-hmm. I feel like for me, it was a good decision for me, but I've had my struggles with Islam.
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing about it is like, you know, with faith, bro, I understand faith, but like a lot of these rules and ideologies came 2,000 something years ago.
Right.
So if we can become better people and change month to month or day to day, or like if you was working out last week, you could be better this week, then how do we everybody's like, yo, the only thing everything that's going on in the world, the only thing that matters is that book, and that book. Which right. I'm not saying that there's not great principles in all of the books, because I've read the Bible when I was a kid, and I've retained tons of great knowledge and wisdom and principles. And I read the Quran and I've attained the same. But I feel like when it comes to faith, I take it in a metaphorical sense more than a literal.
Right.
Because I like when you read, like even when you read the Bible, if you read the Bible, you read the Quran or the Torah, it basically like I the only thing I grew up reading for real was comic books. So like it's for real, bro. It's like it's almost like reading a comic book, because everybody got special powers and
right.
So I had to start learning about like taking things in a metaphorical sense as opposed to a literal. And I took my shahada when I was 20 going on 21. I was in Beanie Siegel's living room. I took my shahada and I became Muslim. But like I still struggle with, like, faith was an important part of it. But like I still struggle with faith, and that's just me being a human being, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And I feel like for me, like even now, I'm devout Christian, right? Mm-hmm. But I have this super understanding in my mind of what faith, religion is supposed to look like. Because it's more about the relationships than religion. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the reason why we're so divided is because each religion is telling its followers that it's better than the next. Right. And I think, for me, I've always said it, love is the real religion. And it sounds very... No, that's a fact. Promise you, like, people feel like that sounds so cliche, but it is. Because in every religion, God is love. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, God is love. And if God is love, then love is the real religion. And for me, I mean, I don't even know if you've ever caught it, but like on Instagram, I've been doing these lives in the morning. It's just prayer. So I do like it's supposed to be a 10-minute, 5-minute prayer to start the day. Today, I was on there for 2 hours, 600 people. 600 people from all walks of life. Muslims, Christians, people who just say they're atheists. But it's the vibe they're getting from being in there. And it's a crazy thing, because it's gospel music playing. Yo, but
can I tell you a secret, bro? Even though I'm a Muslim, when I tell you I love gospel music,
I got a fire gospel playlist for you.
Please say it, yo, bro. When I tell you I love, I kid you not, bro. Kirk Franklin's "Eye on the Sparrow," that's one of the hardest songs ever made, bro.
Hardest.
The ad-libs. Bro, listen, I remember, so when I got my, I'm sorry if I took you off track.
Nah, bro. This is it.
I did, when I got my PS5, right? I got my PS5. I found some kid on Twitter. He told me he was selling PS5s. I thought it was like some BS thing. I linked up with the kid. The kid mom brought it to me or whatever. I brought the PS5. I put on my story. I sing because I put Eyes on a Sparrow, bro. Like, right. My kids, everybody was so sick of me because I was in there singing that shit like to the top of my lungs, bro. But but that's the thing. In Islam, it talks about the gospel. Right. In Islam, you know what I'm saying? In Islam, it talks about Isa, who is Jesus. Right. You know what I mean? And how he was a prophet. And like, I think that everybody has different sides of the story, whatever. But like, I don't feel like the problem is that like, you know, people whenever people don't agree, instead of like coming to the common ground of like, yo, you feel like how you feel and I feel like I feel, and we could respect each other, it usually doesn't end like that.
Right. No, one has to belittle the other.
Right.
One has
So
to
it's
say,
like,
this one's not that great, and one common situation that occurs nowadays a lot, especially on social media. Ramadan comes along and there's memes from Christians about Ramadan. When Easter comes along or Christmas comes along, you got the Muslim brothers or whoever created memes about, because you know sometimes they're Muslims married to Christmas, and it's like, I see you, bro, with your Christmas Christmas fit on with your wife,
right? But no, you know what's the funniest thing about that? Because like, I'm gonna tell you my biggest problem with Christmas is it don't got nothing to do with religion. When I was a kid, I was about 13, 14 years old. Came in the room, my mother was crying. It was around Christmas time. I said, "Ma, what's wrong?" She was like, "I just paid all the bills and I don't got no money to get you or your sister nothing." And I felt hatred, because I hate anything that would hurt my mother.
Right.
But it was because she felt like she had to do something for us, to get us something to not to legitimize, but you know, for the position that she was in, like it kind of hurt for us. But we had come from out the shelter system, bro.
Right.
And we had moved into apartments. So my biggest problem with Christmas is not even that. Me being a black man, I'm not telling my kids that it's white people riding around giving niggas free shit. I'm sorry. I just can't, bro. It's impossible. Like I said that one day I said that to my youngest daughter. She said something to me about Christmas, and I said, I just want you to know something. I said, white people ain't gonna give you nothing for free. They not never gonna give you nothing. I said, even if they give you something, it's gonna come with something.
Right.
They not never gonna give you nothing, because the problem I have with, like, first of all, holidays, which are supposed to be holy days, are like almost not holy at all.
Stressful days.
They're stressful. It's a marketing day. It's a day to get the bag. You know what I mean?
Right.
From a
Absolutely.
company standpoint, from a branding standpoint, or whatever. My thing is that like, I just like, because then it's like, oh no, Santa's black. No, he's not. He's a fictional character. Santa is just as real as Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they're the same person. You know what I'm saying? But I just, when I was a kid, I used to like, I felt like as we're growing up, and I feel like, you have to let kids be kids and have their times and this, that, and the third. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like the same way that we're subconsciously influenced, like we was talking about earlier. Yeah. When it comes to stuff like Christmas and different things, like, we subconsciously get put in a place where these kids is living la la land, and by the time they're adults enough, I mean, not that you've been I'm not gonna say feeding lies, because then they're gonna start saying that like we gonna get flagged and they're gonna say I'm anti everything, right? Like, I'm just saying, it's like you gotta instill more real stories, right? Because it's the same. It's not the same thing, but it's like, I hate the fact that like we still see slave movies, like yeah, we know that part of our history, but at the same time, it's like there's a lot of great history that black people have achieved. Right. Like when Black History Month comes around, it's not only about Malcolm X and they don't even be jacking Malcolm X like that, but like it's not even like all about Martin Luther King. It's so many other black women, black men who have achieved so many great feats, and I feel like that's the reason why a lot of us don't aspire to be, because we only have like this one
very limited,
it's like it's a limited package, bro. It's like,
I mean, the great thing I'll say, like right now with all the inclusion that's going on now, we have these amazing stories that are showing. I feel like a lot of these stories, when you talk about like the Bessie, I think was it Bessie Walker, Smith, the Bessie Walker, we talking about Billie Holiday, right. Talking about all these people who did things in the past, and now I feel like there's more opportunity to see it. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, we're talking 20, 30 years late now. We've already been, Hollywood has totally done 97 Martin Luther King movies. Yo, it's crazy. And 2 Malcolm X movies.
Yo, it's crazy, man. But then when they do give us something black, when they do want to green light something, it's a gangster.
Right. Like, you know, even the fact that they gave Denzel his first award off what is that?
Training Day. Bro, yo, listen, man, but that's the thing, man. I think that, you know, it's this book. I gotta buy it again. My homegirl had told me about it. Kill them before they grow. It's like kind of like a systematic way that they do things to and put us in position where we can't see ourselves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like today I had asked my son if he wanted to come today, but he went to a basketball practice. But like, I like to bring my son with me places like this because it's like he might look at you and see your brand and be like, yeah, you know what I mean? Oh, Dad, that's who make that? Like, he's seen it, like he's worn some of it, but really see you and be like, oh, he make that? Oh, I could do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I feel like, you know, it's up to us, and the problem is that our people, what we care about versus what we don't, is such a crazy contrast because it's like the BS, we love to see it. We love to see the good stuff, but we don't truly invest our time or our resources into the good stuff until it's too late.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You see it in the music. You know what I mean? It's like King Von passes away, he gets 3 million followers in a week.
Right.
Bobby Shmurda comes home from prison, and I'm not because I'm super happy Bobby came home.
Right.
But Bobby Shmurda comes home from prison, he gets 3 million followers in a day. I'm not saying that like Bobby doesn't deserve his flowers, but I know that there's a young brother or sister out there that just accomplished something that we could all put our energy towards as well.
Right.
And I feel like that's I don't even know where I'm going with this convo. I just like, you know, I think like that's where we kind of missed the mark on with ourselves, because nobody can check us about our shit but us, for real.
Right. And that's real. And I think that's why it's so important for me to highlight like who you are. Like, I think that like you're I mean, like, you're a moving force in the industry, like seeing the humble beginnings to see where you are now, to see you as a father, to see you as somebody who would come to a spot in Montclair on a last minute call to come, you know, come join us on this podcast. It's amazing, and the humility more importantly than anything else, because that's what's kept you in the rooms. You know what I'm saying? The humility that you have is amazing. So you know,
bro.
I give you your flowers, and I show love all the time, man.
You know what I always say? I always just tell people I'm who my mother raised me to be, bro.
Right.
That's exactly who I am. I'm exactly the man she raised me to be. Cause my father raised me too in a lot of different ways, but my mother sacrificed a lot out of her life, man, to be a 21-year-old girl. She wasn't no woman at no 21 years old. Right. You know what I mean? She was a 21-year-old girl. She had a kid with a man older than her. And, you know, my mom finished college while, like, my mom finished college when I was a little kid. When I was like 4 years old, she graduated from college. Right. I mean, she got the pictures with me and her, you know what I mean?
I can imagine that graduation.
Yeah, my mom used to take me on, like, you know, she used to do fashion, so she used to take me to the fashion shows. And I asked her one time, like, yo, why you stop? She said, you know, I had you and I had your sister, and, you know, I wanted to raise y'all. So it's like, that's why I always pay it forward to my mother more than anything. If it wasn't for my mother, Lita Goins, man, I would not be the man I am today. You know what I mean? Right. She just turned 60 yesterday, so shout out to my moms.
No, that's fire. Mm-hmm. Happy birthday, moms. So, and just in rapping, and just a few questions I got. One thing I want to touch on, and we never, because, you know, for me, one of the biggest focus on this is we've talked mental health. We've talking these breaking these generational curses, and we just talking about the black family, like for you and your family, you and your wife, your kids. Like, what's the most important thing that keeps you guys in the space where, like, that keeps you together? Because it's so easy out here in this day and age to say I'm gonna walk away when things aren't going right. What are you doing to maintain the love within your family?
Let them spend all my money. nah, man. But honestly, just understanding that, like, I had them before I had anything else. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I could have still been at Bed Bath & Beyond. I still have them. Right. I mean, I'm not knocking nobody that works at Bed Bath & Beyond. Nah. But like, what keeps me there is, like, I always have this mentality, and it's the same mentality I apply, like, with me in music, right? It's like, every time I thought about, like, giving up, I would never give up on my family, but every time I thought about, like, not pushing through, I always said, what else I'm gonna do? Like, I come too far.
Right.
I feel like for my family, I've worked too hard. Like, I built them in many more ways than when they built me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I would not be the man I am with all of them. So it's like they my lifeline. You know what I'm saying? Like my daughters, my wife, my son. You know, like bro, I buried my father last year. You know what I'm saying? And like I said earlier, like me and my father was really, 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 really close. And that's the realest shit that ever happened in my life. What I mean about it is like, when I mean realist, I mean like the biggest reality check.
Right.
And what I had, my father had 8 kids, 8 different women, you know, ranging from 50 years old down to 22.
Right.
And like, I seen one of my sisters that I hadn't seen since I was 11 years old. She came. And like how you said love, my dad had told me that if you live and you love, then you've lived life, no matter what you've loved. And like you said, bro, love, man. I'm never going to turn love away. Not from a family member, not from my significant other, not from my children, not from people who want to show me love in the street. Love is the only thing that matters. So love is what has kept me like so headstrong and helped me fight through. Because it do get tough. You know what I mean? Even raising kids, like, you know what I mean? Like, raising children is not an easy thing. And it's like, you know, but my love would never permit me to walk out the door and not know what they eating that night, not know if they warm when it's cold. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so love, man. For real.
When this is all over, industry, everything, what's Wayno's legacy? What do you want your legacy to say?
That was a good person. That was a good person. I always say I used to always say, like, the day I die, I just want my kid, somebody walk up to my kids and be like, hey, your father was that nigga, man. But nah, like, cause when my dad died, like I said, like, my dad was in the street. So my dad passed, there's just so many people. I found out that my father had a full academic scholarship to Xavier. Right. And he didn't go. He stayed in the streets. I found out all these different things about my father when he passed, and it was just like the thing that my father had more than anything, more than he had money, more than he had anything, was love and respect. Right. So when industry, whatever, when it's all said and done, I just want people to have like love and respect for me and my kids. You know what I mean? My family, that's it. My wife, like, I just want people to just be like, yo, like, your father helped me. I want somebody to say, like, yo, I watched this interview with your pops, and like, I never met him, but yo, he was like, I used to write down what he wrote, or he helped me get a tough time. That's what I'm here for, man. I'm a servant to the people, for real.
Right. And I think that being of service is so important for you, just as a man, as a human being, because the more we pay it forward, the more God pours into us. Right. And it's so funny you said love and respect being your last thing. We do this thing. We have rapid fire questions. Okay. I can handle these. You can handle these. Yeah, all right. Yeah. So, rapid fire question: love or respect, and why?
Yes. I just said I can handle these. Love or respect, and why? I take respect. I feel like respect is more admirable. I feel like I appreciate and I love, but like, I take my respect over love.
Okay. Most influential in Harlem, Cameron or Mace?
Most influential. Shit. Oh my God! Why you do this to me, dog? Oh, I can't believe you just said that. More influential in Harlem, Cam and Mace. I gotta go with Cam. But can I add something about Mace?
Add it.
All right, so look, it's definitely Cam, because Cam had a longer career and he had longevity. But bro, when I tell you, Mace was like,
Tell me that feeling.
Oh my God, Mace is like a fucking. I never equate, and you know, especially in Islam, you don't equate anybody to God, but like Mace was like a God, bro. Like, yo, I seen Mace 2 times when I was a kid.
Right.
The first time I seen him, I was sitting on 125th and 8th, me and my man, and he walked around the corner with these two girls, and I never forget, he had this red leather jacket, and he looked at us, and he was like, "What's up?" Right? Like, and we was like, "Yo, that's Mace." Like, yo, bro, Mace had niggas talking slow, bro. I swear to God, I didn't do it, but I had friends who talk, yo, like, yeah. You did it?
I'm guilty.
Oh my God! But I was
on the phone like,
but Cam, bro, Cam paved the way. Cam paved the way back in 2004 for me to wear like pink sweats today. That's a fact. So
Cam,
yeah.
Here we go. I'm killing you.
All right, go ahead.
Streets is watching or killer season.
Streets is watching.
Stuck on an Island. What 5 albums are a must-have?
Stuck on an Island. 5 albums. Mary J. Blige, My Life. Shit, man. Mary J. Blige. There's so many albums. All right, Mary J. Blige, My Life. Listen, my answers is right, but they're totally wrong. Like, I'm gonna keep it 100. Like,
no right or wrong.
They're right, but they're wrong. Cause you catch me on another day, I'm gonna say something different. But Mary J. Blige, My Life album, Biggie, Life After Death, Mariah Carey, The Emancipation of Mimi, Nerd, Seeing Sounds, Nerd, Seeing Sounds. One more album. It's 100 albums I'm gonna forget.
That's cool.
Oh, did I say Jay-Z?
Like that.
I say Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt.
Ooh, I was going with Blueprint.
Yeah.
But Nike Ups or J's?
Jordans. Easy. That's easy. I'll take Jordans over Uptowns any day. Cause I've never purchased a pair of white on white Uptowns ever in my life for myself. They've always been given to me. That's just a perk of being friends with rappers. They wear them one time and take.
I know you had one of the Roc-A-Fella joints.
Well, yo, listen. If I would have known that they'd be worth what they was, I'd have stole all of them out the office. Bro, we had the Black Album joints, the Blueprint. They just was sitting there. Yeah, I didn't never touch them. But when Biggs did them like 2 years ago, he signed my box and sent me a pair.
You never wearing them.
I wore them like 2 or 3 times. But they like bro. I got way too many sneakers. Like, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I have way too many sneakers.
Hov and Nas.
Hov. But I love Nas. Nas. I've worked with both, and Nas helped me make more money than Jay helped me make. So
true.
I say Nas.
What's your love language?
I don't even know what that means. I see people talk about that all the time, but I don't know what that means. I never did that.
Really?
Yeah, I never did that. Listen, man, I don't be trying to listen. I'm in a fully committed relationship, so I don't be trying to figure out like what makes me compatible with somebody else. My wife see that, be like, "What are you doing this for?" Like,
yo, you know it's so crazy. I've never broken the fourth wall. What's the 5 love languages?
Is
physical touch, quality time,
acts of service,
gift giving, and
the last one is
words of
affirmation. Words of affirmation. Touch, gift,
quality time,
acts of service, washing dishes.
Oh, that's nothing. That's the kid's job. I don't do nothing. Shit, they think I'm rich. Y'all think I'm rich? I want to spend on y'all. Do all the shit. I say, you said touch, words of affirmation. Mm-hmm. I say words. My words. I feel like my words have more impact. Like, my words have impact. So my love of language would probably be words of affirmation. Because I always try to encourage, like, always try to encourage people to be better. Specifically mine. You know what I mean?
Fire. And I got this one specific question.
All right.
Because I really had to touch on industry stuff, right? Mainly because I really wanted to touch on the side of Wayno that people don't really get to see.
Right.
I have this one question that has to do with Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so hard for Jersey artists to break in the industry?
Everybody in New Jersey, if you see me in Walmart, you see me in Costco, please don't run down on me and try to hurt me for saying this, but a lot of Jersey artists don't have identity. They don't have identity. People from Jersey is a very, very big state.
Right.
Everybody don't know that.
Right.
It's like people that's from out of town. They think that New York is one place.
Right.
So if I say I'm from Harlem, they think it's the same as Brooklyn.
Right.
It's not. Jersey is a very different place. It has a lot of different places. Like, the only two places I've been in Jersey that's similar is Newark and Camden. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And that's not for good things. You know what I mean? But I will say that, like, you know, the thing with Jersey is also a chip on the shoulder town.
Right.
Because it's like New York's little brother.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like Jersey has tons of great talent. I've met tons of great artists from Jersey. Of course, like, everybody knows the Fetty Waps and shit, but, like, I like Albie Al a lot. Of course.
Any prospects that you see that have possibilities?
It's this. I ain't gonna lie. I don't remember people's names. Like, I'm horrible with names, bro. I see, the reason why I say that is because I come across so many artists on a daily basis. I can't tell one from the other anymore. But, like, it was this kid from Trenton, which is another rough place. Trenton, I've been in Trenton before. That Trenton is crazy. Trenton, this kid was like 18 years old. He got shot like 30 times and lived.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a crazy story. I think his name was Baby something. He was it used to be Littles, and then there's like, now it's Baby, so everybody's a baby. Yeah. But I think that the thing with Jersey is like, Jersey has the chance and opportunity, but I feel like there isn't enough people from Jersey in the music industry that, like,
cultivate.
Yeah, like who's the niggas don't even know that Queen Latifah is Jersey. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right. Because she's so far from when she started. Like, right. But I feel like there's not enough stories told from people from Jersey. So it's like, all right, if I want to identify like an entrepreneur, like a CEO, I wanted to be like from New York. I go to Diddy, who's from Mount Vernon, Harlem, whatever. Irv Gotti, who's from Queens. Dame, who's from Harlem. Biggs, who's from Harlem. Cam, like, I won't even say Cam. I go to the new generation, like QP from Highbridge, from the Bronx, like, and right. Bubba from the Bronx, like, you know, Tell them Blanco sent you from Brooklyn. They got Chef G in them, but it's like, all right, what's the kid that was behind Fetty, Nick the Grip?
Yeah,
like, there wasn't enough of his story, right. Along with Fetty, and then it only was Fetty. Like, it's like every time I feel like a Jersey artist has a breakthrough, it's cut short so much. It's cut short.
Right.
And I don't think it's a Jersey thing. I just think that, like, a lot of the artists in recent times that have come from Jersey just haven't been able to see the longevity of their career.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, look at Fetty Wap, bro. I think that Fetty Wap's gift and his curse is that so much happened for him so fast when it happened. Because he was on a grind for mad long. That nigga was on a grind for years, but, like, when it happened so big. He was breaking, like, Eminem records on Billboard. He had it so big, so fast, pause, that, right, it ended up, I think it was overwhelming.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, bro, one thing about Jersey's a real city, it's a real town, bro. And it's like, I feel like there's not enough education that goes, or mentorship that goes into, like, the artists that come from here.
Smell the class coming.
Huh?
Smell the class coming, man.
Yeah. I mean, yo, I feel the thing about music now is it don't matter where you, like, I don't know where nobody's from no more. Like, I was in LA, I heard a kid from Compton. He looked like he was from the Bronx, but he was from Watts. That's where J-Rock and them is from.
Right.
From him saying the Bounty Hunter Blood, them projects. He's from over there, and he looked like a boogie type kid, and he sounded like that, but he from Watts. Like, everything's so different because the internet.
I'm so lost in the whole music industry right now.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. Like, Lil TJ from where?
He's from Bronx.
Exactly.
But I mean, he's a boogie from Bronx.
For so long, I thought he was from, like, the South.
But that's the problem with that is that everybody that's from up north. If you're not rapping like Jadakiss, niggas think that you're from the South. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but it's not like that. It's different now. It's like, look at Roddy Ricch. Roddy Ricch is from Compton, but he has a melodic sound. Like, but that's because these kids is using the internet. Like, right. Before, you could only rap one way because all we had to refer to is Rap City and DVDs and Video Music Box and whatever else in our region. You know what I'm saying? It's not regional no more. It's sound-wise.
Right. Look, man.
I mean, I know we might have to do a part 2 one day.
No, I know we gotta do a part 2. Yo, Man, having you on here was an amazing time, bro.
Oh, thank you for having me, brother.
I can't even begin to like express my thanks because, we had so much to touch on.
Yeah.
And it's still so much to touch on.
Absolutely.
But we appreciate you having you on here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on the Unconventional Christian Podcast show.
With the first Muslim guest, right?
First Muslim guest.
All right, we let shout out to all my Christian people, though.
Yeah, you already know. Amen and I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. My brother.
Love.
Already.